welcome to Roy Models Kit Review Time. Today we've got something a little bit different and something I never thought I'd ever need, if I'm honest. So today we've got this. This is a Badger paint mixer. Now, over the last few weeks you might know I've switched my paint collection pretty much from acrylics back to lacquers. I blame MRP paints, they're very good, so that's why we've done it. The thing is with them though, I don't know how well you can see from your angle, but they do settle, as does all paint, okay. Now the big thing is though that some paints settle more than others. Now lacquers and stuff like that, they do tend to settle extremely quickly, and if you don't mix them correctly, you can end up with the thin stuff off the top, and the further you get down the bottle, the thicker it gets, changing the formula, the ratios, and how you have to spray. Now this isn't just with lacquers or MRP, it's any type of paint out there whatsoever. The secret to a good airbrushing time is a good mix, okay? If you get in a situation where you're airbrushing and you ever get spitting, stopping and starting, clogging, build up on the needle, chances are 90% of the time it's probably down to your paint mix, okay? A good basis though is the paint to thinner mixture, but that can be wrong because if you've got your paint, and let's just assume you're using, let's grab some Tamiya just off the bat. If you've just given this a quick shake, okay, and then you tip it out, you haven't got the thick stuff right off the bottom, and even down there you can see the difference in the colours between them, and that's because it hasn't been thoroughly mixed. Okay, so you need it to be completely thoroughly mixed. That way, when you're doing your mixture from paint to thinner, if you're doing a 50-50 mix, which is my standard for spraying sort of Tamiya and guns and everything else like that, that way you've got a true formula. If you haven't shaken it enough, it could be more like a sort of a 60-40 mix or a 70-30 mix, because the paint is a lot thinner, so it's going to change the way you're spraying and everything else like that. So being able to completely mix your paint is a bit of a must. Now, one of the big things that was spoken about with MRP is that make sure you give them a really good shake to wake them up, to get that sediment off the bottom for the best possible finish you can get. And because of that, the guys at HM Hobbies have sent me one of these. Now, this is a Badger paint mixer. To be honest, I've never used one, I've never seen one, I've heard horror stories about them and all the rest of it, so I thought we could give it a bit of a whirl. Now, the first thing is how do we get in here? Okay. Oh, there we go. Right, okay, so we've got a big box with a few bits down in there. So we've got a little instruction leaflet. Batteries go in, pop it into bottle, and away we go. So we've got the unit itself. Okay, so we've got our mixer, which isn't what I thought it would be at the end. It is literally just this sort of star shape on there. Very thick, very heavy duty. I must admit, I thought it would be a piece of aluminium, thin. We've got the control unit itself with an on-off switch and Assume batteries. And I'm right, it doesn't come with batteries, so it just so happens I've got a couple of AA batteries here. So just making sure we go in the right way. I think it must be that way and that way. I don't know, I think it makes a difference, one or other. And then this will then hopefully slide back in if we can get it in. There we go. Okay, so far so good. Then this goes on here, which is just got a slot on here, so it's literally just going to push itself on how far it goes in. And then, to be honest, that's a lot better than other ones I've seen, because normally they're that far off centre that they just fall apart and go all over it. Very quick. Okay, so let's just have a go in here. So what we've got here, I don't know how old this is. This is where we make a huge mess. This is live. I've never tried this before. I've got a feeling this flying everywhere. But technically you have your paint, you pop this in, and I can feel it's thick and gooey at the bottom. This goes horrendous. Oh, that's better than I thought. Hold on, if I can not do it, I'll try and show you. But hopefully you can see it's making a sort of vortex. You see that down in there? It's a bit difficult because I put it at an angle. Right, okay, so let's turn that off. Now, oh yeah. Now I'm pushing down in there, feeling for thick bits, and there is no thick bits in there whatsoever. So the only trouble is you've got quite a bit left on the end here. But that has mixed that absolutely fantastic. Very, very nicely indeed. Should have thought this through first, Flory, because now I've got no way of doing this. Okay, let's grab this bit. Okay, so yes, you have lost the bit off the end, but I'm trying to wipe it in there a bit and spin it around a bit. It should wipe clear. I'm wondering what you could probably do with at this point is to have a little pot like this with thinners in. And if you used to stick something like lacquer thinners in it, I'm sure you'd be fine. Now it just so happens I have some lacquer thinners here. So we're just going to put a bit in a shot glass and then we can pop this in again. And this will probably clean it. And you can see the action that it does easily in here. So this is actually what it's doing, and it is mixing it extremely well. And there you go, that's cleaned it. So there we go. That gets right in. And the great thing about this is because the shape on the end, it's not gonna smack crap out of the inside of your colour thing. The only thing is that trigger is very, very sensitive. You've only got to touch it and it goes. Okay, now I'm hoping that this will fit in pretty much anybody's bottle. So I'll tell you what I'll do. Let's just try it into, I want one with a nice thick sediment. That's got a big thick sediment. So there we go. This is what we're talking about. If you look in here, hopefully it'll fit in. See, we've got a big thick sediment. So what we're going to do is, I don't even know if it'll fit in here. I'm hoping it will. Oh, it does. Look at that. Okay. So we're going to pop it in here. And again, I can feel it in the bottom. Here we go. Hopefully you can see the change in colour. But it completely changed the colour as soon as I put this in. Yeah, we'll take this off. As I say, this stuff's thin like ink anyway, so it's very easy to clean. Okay, I'm just going to pop this in here. Very, very strong action. Okay, so actually, I thought, if I'm honest, it would be horrible to clean this up as well. I thought it would be a nightmare trying to get it clean and all the rest of it. But there we go. That is, as you can see, that solid, proper colour right the way through that now with a quick whiz. And I can see right down the bottom there is no sediment left in that whatsoever. That worked really, really well. So okay, next test. This is where it will probably get frothy. Now I've had this lying around deliberately. You can see down here, this is the Flory Models wash. Okay, it's clay wash, so obviously you can see how it separates completely where the clay, this one's been kicking around for a couple of months. It's completely separated. This is like the ultimate test for this. The other trouble is, don't forget, there is a flow enhancer into this, which basically means the capillary reaction is good for it. And then as I put this in, it feels like going into thick concrete. So now I'm going to whiz this around in here. Because normally you would shake this to weight it up. I'm just running it all the way around in here now. I'm not going to over whiz it, because technically it's not going to need it. Okay, we'll rinse that under the tap in a minute because it's water, so it cleans up with water, that one. You won't need anything else. Okay. And if we pop the top on so we don't end up with a huge mix, there we go. Can you see how that's completely mixed that? We've got no, let it run off, no sediment in the bottom. It all dies off. You can see how it's made a nice smooth creamy mix, and that's how it should be. Okay, so it looks like that. So it completely covers the inside, and then slowly you can see it all running off now, exposing down on the inside. But you can see on the bottom as well. See how it's running back there now? There's none of the thick sediment in the bottom. There may be a tiny bit around this edge, but I don't think it is actually. No, it's draining off, look. It's actually got right the way around the complete edge of it as well. And I'll be honest with you, that is like the ultimate test for this stuff. Because if it can do that, it can do anything. Okay? But it's made up a very nice batch. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. The idea of one of these, for years, I would have gone, no, load of rubbish, I'll save myself. I don't even know how much this is, to be honest. Again, they've sent it to me, so I haven't got a clue. But it would have never interested me at all. But now I've just used it, it's one of those things like, why haven't I had one of these all my life? But the big thing is, you can probably see, it's well balanced, It's not like it's in a situation where this end is like off counter and it's flicking all over the place and moving around. It's pretty good. The end on it as well is a nice shaped design and everything else. It gets right down into the corners of everything as you go right the way through. But you can see there how good a job it physically does in here. It's not like it's just, you know, it's spinning and nothing's happening. It is working down in there. Okay, the only thing is, my drawback to it is just watch that trigger. You've only got to touch it and it goes very, very loose. You know, there's not a lot of room in there, but it is. Once you're totally up to speed, it's very central as well. So there we go. That is the Badger Company's paint mixer. Who knew?